Have you ever noticed that the deepest heartbreaks do not arrive like a sudden storm? They creep in like the slow fading of daylight. A quiet shift in the atmosphere. It begins not with an argument, but with the absence of words. You ask how their day was, and the answer is suddenly short. The small details they used to share the random thoughts, the sudden laughter, the long messages begin to vanish. The space between you grows, not with anger, but with a heavy, unexplainable silence. You sit in the same room, but it feels like you are sitting on opposite sides of an ocean. This is one of the most painful experiences of human connection. Watching someone you love slowly pull their energy away. What if the hardest part of this experience is not their silence, but the story you are desperately trying to write about it? When the words stop flowing, the mind rushes in to fill the empty space, and almost always, the untrained mind fills that space with fear. We think, what did I do wrong? We wonder, am I no longer interesting? Am I losing them? Am I simply not enough anymore? In a world where we measure love by constant communication and attention, someone's silence feels like a personal failure. But Buddhist wisdom offers a deeply different way to look at this painful distance. Buddhism teaches us that much of our suffering comes from grasping, from desperately trying to hold on to a moment, a feeling, or a version of a person that is already changing. We suffer not just because the person is quiet, but because we are clinging tightly to the memory of how loud and vibrant they used to be. Imagine a beautiful warm fire. When it burns brightly, you sit close, feeling safe and warm. But sometimes the flames lower. The wood settles, the heat dims. If you panic and start throwing anything you can find onto the coals, leaves, dirt, your own bare hands, you will only burn yourself, or worse, smother the embers completely. When someone you love withdraws, your first instinct is usually to fix it. You ask more questions. You try to force a deep conversation. You overanalyze every facial expression. You sacrifice your own peace, bending over backwards to pull a reaction from them. You abandon yourself in the desperate attempt to keep them close. Think about your own life right now. Think about the person whose silence is keeping you awake at night. How much of your energy are you spending trying to pry open a door they have quietly closed? How many times today have you checked your phone, waiting for a breadcrumb of the connection you used to have? Stop. Breathe. Let that sink in. You are exhausting yourself trying to control something that is entirely outside of your hands. Their willingness to share is their current reality, not your permanent failing. Yet we often confuse someone else's distance with our own lack of value. We take their quietness as a mirror reflecting our flaws. We believe that if we were just a little better, a little more loving, or a little more perfect, they would open up again. This is the illusion that steals your peace. Your worth is not a fragile leaf blowing in the wind, disappearing the moment someone else goes quiet. Your completeness does not depend on their constant validation or their daily words. You do not have to abandon your center just because someone else has drifted from theirs. There is a strange kind of freedom waiting for you when you finally stop trying to force the river to flow. But realizing you cannot control them is only the very first step on this journey, because before you can truly find peace, in the empty space they left behind, you must face the loud, painful narrative inside your own head. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The story we tell ourselves about not being enough. Here is a truth few people want to face. When someone pulls away, most of the unbearable pain you feel is not actually coming from them. It is coming from your own mind. When the person you love shares less, you feel the very real sting of a changing connection. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us of the concept of the two arrows. In life, the first arrow is the unavoidable pain of the world. It is the quiet dinner. It is the short text message. It is the undeniable fact that they are distant. That arrow hurts, but it is small. The second arrow is the one we shoot into our own hearts. The second arrow is the story we create about the pain. Because we do not like empty spaces, our minds rush to fill the silence with a narrative. And usually, it is a narrative of self-blame. The fact that they are quiet today suddenly transforms into they are tired of me. The reality that they did not ask about my day morphs into the heavy belief that I am simply not enough. Think about your own life. Think about a recent moment when their lack of words made you feel invisible. How quickly did you turn their quietness into your own failure? How fast did you convince yourself that if you were smarter, more beautiful, more successful, or more interesting, they would not be looking away? Imagine standing at the edge of a deep, still lake at night. When the air is calm, the surface is like a perfect mirror, reflecting the quiet truth of the moon. But if a storm rolls in and the wind begins to howl, the water turns violent. The reflection shatters into 1,000 broken, terrifying shapes. The moon has not changed. The sky has not fallen. But the turbulent water distorts everything you see. Right now, your fear is the wind, and it is violently distorting how you see yourself. You are taking another person's silence and using it as a weapon against your own soul. You are letting a shadow on the wall dictate your self-worth. In a world that conditions us to seek constant validation, we forget that our value is not a fragile thing, dependent on the attention of another human being. You do not lose your worth just because someone else forgot how to see it. Ask yourself, what is the exact story you are telling yourself right now? Are you writing a tragedy where you are always the one being left behind? Is this thought bringing you peace, or is it only feeding your fear? You do not have to believe every story your mind tries to tell you. Pause, breathe, observe the thought without following it. When the feeling of "I am not enough" rises in your chest, do not fight it, but do not claim it either. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. Watch it drift across your mind like a dark cloud passing over a vast open sky. The sky is not harmed by the cloud. It simply watches it pass. You are the sky. The stories are just clouds. When you stop shooting the second arrow, the suffering begins to soften. You stop abandoning yourself. You stop taking their emotional distance as a verdict on your soul. But if their silence is not a reflection of your worth, then what is it? If the story you are telling yourself is false, what is the truth behind their closed door? Because beneath every silence is a reality waiting to be understood. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. Understanding the true nature of another's silence. What if the silence you fear is not actually about you at all? Here is the truth that our minds desperately want to avoid. When the person we love goes quiet, we immediately place ourselves at the exact center of their behavior. We naturally assume that their withdrawal is a direct reaction to us. We feel ignored. We feel as if they are withholding their warmth as a punishment. We believe that if they truly loved us, they would break through their own walls just to make sure we felt secure. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us to look past the illusion of our own ego. In Buddhist thought, one of the deepest causes of our suffering is taking the actions of others personally. Buddhism reminds us that every single human being carries a vast, complicated, and often heavy inner world. We all experience our own private suffering, and very often another person's retreat is not a rejection of you. It is simply an entanglement with their own mind. Imagine a deep, ancient forest. When a bitter, violent winter storm arrives, the animals do not retreat deep into their burrows because they hate the forest. They do not hide because they are angry at the trees. They pull back into the dark because it is the only way they know how to survive the freezing rain. They curl inward simply to conserve their own warmth. In our daily lives, this invisible storm takes many different shapes. It might be a crushing pressure at work that they do not know how to articulate. It might be a deep-seated fear of failure that they are entirely too proud to confess. It might be the heavy weight of getting older, the quiet grief of a changing life, or simply an overwhelming inner exhaustion. Sometimes, people stop sharing their world with you because the noise inside their own head has become deafening. They have run out of the emotional energy required to translate their heavy thoughts into spoken words. Think about your own life. Have you ever been so overwhelmed by your own doubts or fears that you had absolutely no words left for anyone else? Think about the moments when you wanted to hide away in a quiet room. Did your silence mean you stopped loving the people outside the door? Or did it just mean you were drowning in your own heavy waters? Ask yourself, what are you assuming about their silence that might not be true? You are entirely allowed to feel the ache of missing their voice, but you do not have to carry the weight of their unspoken battles as if you are the one to blame. Pause, breathe, step back from the center of their story. Let them have their winter without making it your fault. Observe their quietness without immediately translating it into an attack on your worth. You can hold space for them without internalizing their distance. But recognizing this truth often leads to a very dangerous temptation. Because when we finally realize that someone we love is trapped behind a locked door, our deepest instinct is to start pounding on the wood. We try to save them. We try to force the connection back to life. And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The trap of trying to force connection. What if the harder you try to pull them close, the further peace moves away? When someone we love builds a wall, our most natural human reaction is to panic. We see the distance growing, and a deep, frantic urgency takes over. We want to fix it. We want to repair the bridge before it collapses. So, we start overworking the relationship. We ask a dozen variations of the same question. Are you okay? What are you thinking? Did I do something wrong? When they respond with a heavy sigh or a one-word answer, we try even harder. We might even start a meaningless argument simply because an argument is a reaction, and a reaction feels better than an empty, hollow silence. We exhaust ourselves trying to squeeze water from a dry stone, but here is the truth. You cannot force someone to share their soul with you. Buddhist wisdom teaches us about the deep suffering that comes from grasping. In Buddhist thought, pain arises when we demand that reality be completely different than what it currently is. We suffer because we believe we can control the uncontrollable. We believe that with enough effort, enough words, or enough love, we can force another person's heart to open on our exact timeline. But you cannot force a flower to bloom by pulling on its petals. You will only destroy it. Imagine you are standing in a shallow pool of water. Suddenly, the water becomes muddy and turbulent. Your instinct is to reach down and use your hands to press the water flat. You try to smooth out the ripples. You try to force the dirt to settle at the bottom. But the more you splash, the more you push, the murkier the water becomes. The only way the water will ever clear is if you stop touching it. You must step back and let it settle on its own. In your daily life, your frantic attempts to force a connection are like splashing in the muddy water. Every long emotional text message you send, hoping for a deep reply. Every time you pry into their mood when they have asked for quiet. Every time you demand reassurance from someone who currently has nothing left to give. You are not creating closeness. You are only creating more turbulence. Ask yourself, think about your own life right now. Are your attempts to make them talk truly about connecting with them? Or are you simply trying to soothe your own fear of losing them? What are you afraid will happen if you simply let the silence exist? Stop trying to force the door open. You do not have to break your own hands pounding on wood that someone else has locked from the inside. Pause. Breathe. Do your part. Offer your warmth, and then release the outcome. Let the muddy water settle. You are not powerless. simply because you choose to stop fighting. Allowing someone the space to be distant is an act of profound strength. But when you finally stop trying to control them, you are left with a terrifying amount of empty space. And if you are not careful, you might accidentally lose yourself in that quiet void. Because stepping back from them must not mean stepping away from yourself. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. Returning to your center and not abandoning yourself. What if the most dangerous part of watching someone pull away is how quickly you abandon yourself to follow them? Here is a painful truth about human nature. When the person we love withdraws their energy, we do not just miss them. We often make their absence the center of our entire universe. You know this feeling. You pause your own life. You stop doing the things that bring you a quiet joy. You keep your phone in your hand, always waiting for a message that does not come. You replay their last few sentences in your mind over and over again, endlessly searching for hidden meanings. You become entirely consumed by what they are doing, what they are thinking, and why they are so quiet. In your desperate attempt to understand their distance, you step completely out of your own life. You leave your own center empty. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true peace comes from taking refuge within. In Buddhist thought, when we attach our inner stability to the shifting moods and actions of another person, we guarantee our own suffering. We lose our anchor. Buddhism reminds us that non-attachment is not about refusing to care for the other person. It is about refusing to let their emotional state completely dictate your own existence. Imagine a heavy, sturdy wooden boat resting on a deep lake. When the water is smooth and the sky is clear, you sit comfortably in the center, perfectly balanced. But suddenly, the person with you moves to the very edge of the boat, leaning far out over the water. They are distant. They are pulling away. If you panic and frantically rush to the exact same edge to pull them back, the boat will capsize. You will both plunge into the dark, freezing water. The only way to keep the boat from tipping over is to stay exactly where you are. You must stay in the center. You must act as the anchor. In your daily life, rushing to the edge looks like sacrificing your own peace to fix their mood. It looks like obsessing over their silence while entirely ignoring your own needs. It looks like putting your own happiness on a shelf until they finally decide to talk to you again. You are sinking your own boat simply because they move to the edge. Think about your own life right now. Ask yourself, how much of your day is spent waiting for them to change? What parts of your own life have you completely abandoned just to hold vigil over their silence? You cannot be a warm home for someone else if you have completely abandoned the house. Stop, breathe, return to your center. Do not let their quietness drag you out of your own life. Reclaim your space. Walk outside and feel the solid earth under your feet. Watch the clouds drift across the sky. Let them sit in their silence, but do not force yourself to sit in the dark with them. You are allowed to keep living, even when they are distant. You are allowed to be full, even when they are empty, because you can only truly offer love when you are deeply rooted in your own ground. But to stay rooted, you must firmly untangle your own value from their temporary withdrawal. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Separating their distance from your inner value. What if someone else's inability to see your light has absolutely nothing to do with how brightly you shine? Here is a difficult reality about human relationships. We are conditioned to measure our worth by how much attention we receive from the people we love. We treat affection like a mirror. When they are speaking to us, smiling at us, and sharing their day, the mirror reflects a beautiful, worthy version of ourselves. But when they pull away, the mirror goes dark. And in that quiet darkness, we immediately assume that we have become completely invisible. We convince ourselves that if we were truly enough, they would never look away. But Buddhist wisdom teaches a profound lesson about our true nature. In Buddhist thought, every person possesses an inner completeness that is entirely independent of the external world. Your fundamental worth is not a fragile, temporary condition created by someone else's affection. It is a constant. Buddhism reminds us that when we attach our deep inner value to the shifting behaviors of another human being, we are building our entire existence on sand. People will always change. Their moods will shift. Their words will fade and return. If your worth rises and falls with their changing tides, you will never know peace. Imagine a single beautiful candle burning in a quiet room. Its flame is steady, casting a warm golden light across the walls. Now, imagine someone walks into that room. They feel the warmth, they admire the glow, and they sit peacefully in the light. But eventually, their mind becomes heavy. They turn their back to the candle. They close their eyes, or perhaps they walk out and pull the door softly shut behind them. Does the candle suddenly lose its heat? Does the flame disappear simply because the person stopped looking at it? No. The candle continues to burn exactly as it did before. Its light is entirely its own. It does not need an audience to exist. In your life, the person pulling away is simply closing their eyes. Their stress, their inner battles, or their emotional exhaustion has made them turn around. But you feel the sudden chill of their distance and immediately believe that your own fire has gone out. You think you are broken. You think you are no longer enough. You find yourself begging a closed door to tell you that you still have light. Think about your own life. Think about how quickly you hand over your power to someone else's silence. Ask yourself, are you trying to prove your worth to someone who currently does not have the energy to see it? Why do you believe their quietness is a more accurate measure of your value than your own beating heart? Stop. Breathe. Take your reflection out of their hands. Do not shrink yourself just because they are retreating. Do not apologize for the space you take up simply because they are currently taking up less. Let the feeling of rejection rise without letting it rewrite your identity. Let their silence be theirs, but let your light remain yours. Because true peace is knowing that your worth is not something you have to earn back from them. It is something you must simply remember. But learning to stand firmly in your own worth means you must also learn to stand in the quiet room without panicking. You must learn to sit in the silent, empty space they left behind without letting fear take over. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Sitting with the uncomfortable space without fear. What if the silence you are so desperately trying to escape is the exact place where your true peace begins? Here is a deeply human reality. We are absolutely terrified of empty spaces. When the person we love shares less, they leave behind a massive, echoing void in our daily routines. The evening conversations fade. The quick morning messages vanish. Suddenly, your day is filled with quiet, unaccounted for hours. And because we are not taught how to handle this emptiness, we panic. We treat the space like a direct threat to our survival. We try to fill it with anything we can find. We endlessly scroll on our phones. We mentally replay old arguments. We create loud internal noise just to avoid hearing the physical silence. But Buddhist wisdom offers a completely different perspective on the spaces we fear. In Buddhist thought, emptiness is not something broken that needs to be urgently fixed. It is the very foundation of mindfulness. The practice of meditation itself is simply learning to sit quietly in the empty room of your own mind, without running for the door. Buddhism reminds us that the frantic urge to escape the quiet is just another form of suffering. True peace is found when we finally stop running from the silence and learn to sit gracefully within it. Imagine taking a boat out to the very center of a vast, deep lake. You turn off the motor, and the wind dies down completely. Suddenly, the stillness is absolute. There is no movement. There is no noise from the shore. If you are entirely used to the chaos of the city, that sudden, massive silence can feel terrifying. You might feel a frantic urge to restart the engine, to make waves, to break the stillness just to prove you are still moving. But if you resist that urge, if you simply stay seated in the boat and let the water hold you, everything shifts. You realize the quiet is not a vacuum. It is deeply, profoundly peaceful. The silence was never a threat. In your life, the emotional distance this person has created is like that vast, quiet lake. You are sitting in the stillness, and your first instinct is to start the engine. You want to send another long message. You want to force a reaction. You want to create turbulence just to feel something familiar. You believe that if you just sit in the quiet, the connection will disappear entirely into the water. But this empty space is not your enemy. Think about your own life right now. Think about the exact moments today when their absence felt the loudest. Ask yourself, what are you truly afraid of in this quiet space? Are you actually afraid of losing them? Or are you deeply afraid of finally being left alone with yourself? If you did not fill the silence with anxiety and overthinking, what would be left in your own heart? Stop. Breathe. Let the silence simply be silence. The next time you feel the panic rising, do not reach for your phone to check their status. Do not reach for a distraction. Just let the uncomfortable feeling sit next to you. Let the space exist. You do not have to fill every quiet moment with a fearful assumption. You are strong enough to sit in the stillness without drowning, because true strength is not loud, and peace is never found by forcing a reaction from the world. It is found in the gentle act of observing the current moment exactly as it is, and this is where the next truth begins. 8. The power of gentle observation and compassion. What if the highest form of love is not trying to pull someone back, but simply watching them exactly where they are without judgment? When someone we care about shares less with us, our pain often slowly morphs into anger. We feel slighted, we feel ignored. We start building a silent case against them in our minds. We label them as cold, unfair, or selfish. We let bitterness take root in our hearts because it is entirely easier to be angry than it is to feel helpless. But this anger is a heavy chain. It is a chain that ties our own peace directly to their closed door. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the profound practice of gentle observation and compassion. In Buddhist thought, what we often call love is sometimes just attachment. We love how someone makes us feel. We love the constant attention they give us, and we love the validation they provide. When that attention stops, our attachment immediately turns into deep suffering. True compassion is entirely different. When we look deeply at another person, past our own ego and our own wounded pride, we often see that their silence is not an intentional attack. It is a sign of internal suffering. Compassion is the ability to witness their heavy burden without demanding that they carry it differently just to make us feel safe. Imagine a bird sitting quietly inside an open cage. For a long time, it sang beautifully, filling your home with joy and life. But today, the bird is quiet. Its feathers are ruffled, and it refuses to look outward. If you panic, reach your hand into the cage and try to force it to sing. If you shake the wire just to get a familiar reaction, you will only cause more distress. It will retreat further into the darkest corner. The only way to offer true kindness is to sit quietly across the room. You leave the cage door wide open, you offer a safe space, and then you simply observe. You let the bird rest. You give it the complete freedom to be quiet without taking its silence as a personal betrayal. In your daily life, practicing this kind of gentle observation changes the entire atmosphere of your relationship. When they give you a short, distant answer, instead of immediately reacting with defensive anger or passive-aggressive sarcasm, you simply observe the moment. You watch the heavy emotion rise in the room without letting it control you. You say gently to your own mind, "They are deeply tired today," or They are fighting an inner battle that I cannot currently see. You stop taking their emotional exhaustion as an intentional insult. By doing this, you step entirely out of the suffocating cycle of resentment. You stop making their mood your ultimate responsibility. Think about your own life right now. Think about the person who feels miles away from you, even when they are sitting on the very same couch. Ask yourself, what would happen if you simply stopped judging their distance? Are you truly upset because they are struggling, or are you angry because they are no longer making you feel seen and valued? Can you extend a quiet, steady compassion to them, even when they have absolutely nothing to offer you in return? Stop. Breathe. Look at them through the lens of grace, not expectation. You do not have to endure mistreatment, and you do not have to accept cruelty. But you can choose to release the bitter judgment of their silence. You can choose to see their distance as a human struggle rather than a personal failure. Letting go of judgment frees them from your silent demands. But compassion is not a one-way street, because when you finally release them from the immense pressure of your expectations, you are actually clearing the path for your own ultimate freedom. And this is where the final truth begins. 9. Letting go of the outcome and finding peace within. What if the ultimate freedom is realizing that you never needed to control the ending? We began this journey by looking at the quiet ache of fading words. We talked about the terrifying silence, the feeling of slowly losing someone, and the heavy narrative we instantly write about our own failing worth. We have seen how deeply we abandon our own center when we blindly chase the shifting tide of another human being. But the final, most profound lesson is about releasing the one thing we fight the hardest to hold on to, the outcome itself. When the person we love shares less and less, our deepest fear is always about the future. We think, if they are distant now, does this mean they will leave forever? Does this mean the connection is entirely gone? We spend our days desperately trying to secure an ending where we are not abandoned. We negotiate, we analyze, we force conversations, all to drag reality toward a future where we feel safe. But Buddhist wisdom gently strips this illusion away. One of the absolute core teachings of Buddhism is impermanence. Nothing remains exactly as it was. Every relationship, every mood, every human soul is in a constant state of shifting and breathing. The tight, desperate grip we keep on how things used to be is the very source of our deepest pain. The truth is, we have zero control over how another person's journey will unfold, and that is entirely okay. Imagine standing at the edge of a great river. The water flows beautifully past you, carrying leaves and small branches toward the distant sea. For a while, the river might flow right next to your feet, clear and cool and inviting. But over time, the current may naturally shift slightly away, moving over rocks on the far side of the bank. If you jump in, thrashing and desperately trying to physically force the entire river back to your side, you will only exhaust yourself in the dark water. The river will continue to move exactly as it needs to move. Your only task is to stand firmly on the solid ground of the bank. You watch the water shift. You let the river flow. In your life, letting go of the outcome means dropping the desperate need to steer their behavior. It means saying to yourself, I do not know what tomorrow will bring, but I know that I am anchored exactly where I stand today. If they open up and the warmth completely returns, you will meet them with a full heart. But if their silence continues, and the distance slowly becomes a permanent empty space, you will not collapse, because you have finally realized that your value, your wholeness, and your deep inner peace were never actually resting in their hands. The warmth you were begging them for was simply your own light all along. Think about the journey we just walked together. Think about the fear you were holding at the beginning of this video. You no longer have to abandon yourself to save someone else. You do not have to translate their quiet exhaustion into the lie that you are not enough. You can let the boat rest in the center of the quiet lake. You can let the candle burn brilliantly, even if no one is in the room to see it. You can let them have their silence, and you can let yourself have your peace. Because true freedom is no longer demanding that the world make you feel secure. True freedom is knowing that no matter what the other person decides to do, you are already entirely whole. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.